Okay, it looks like we are live for August. I'll just make some adjustments here. Still kind of moving things around, ripping things apart, changing things up, making it interesting, a little bit more Carpy. So now that we're here for our August live stream, it's been a while. It's been a month since we chatted last, and there's not really been a whole lot going on. When I spoke to you last, we would have been like the second last day of the summer SSF with the Canadian Carp Society. And at that point, it was interesting because I had a really, really great start. And then the last half of it just petered out to nothing. And my last 3 sessions of the SSF were actually blanks. Funny enough, after that, I've had a couple of good sessions since, through, in between kind of like the middle of July to now. But again, now my last 3 sessions have also been blanks, which sucks because I know I was on fish. They were there. I had good bait. I had, really nice mix. I had them grubbing around on it. You could see the weeds getting busted apart and coming up, and there was fizzing and there was clouding and everything. Just didn't get the runs, and I'm not sure why. I have a theory, but I won't go into that theory until I actually know for sure, until I've actually proven it right. So I'm hoping my next session out is not actually a blank anymore. I'm hoping I can turn that around. So let's. I'm just going to go back here. Just over on my other screen, I have the Canadian Carp Society's website open because I just want to let you know how things went for the summer SSF, which is what was happening when I spoke to you last. So it did end up coming right down to the end. The big fish just weren't coming out. My biggest fish for the SSF was 29 pounds, and there was only one fish larger than that caught through the whole of the SSF. That went to Ryan Ginter in Manitoba. He had a 31. I think there was 1 or 2 28s, and then it was just kind of everything less than that, 27, whatnot. So there was not a lot of big fish caught, but everybody really did give it a good go because it was challenging, not just for me, it was challenging for everyone. It made it very interesting because we were all just kind of trying to leapfrog 1 pound here, 1 pound there. So it was really neat. When it came down to it, at least in the team division, the House of 1,000 Carp, so that's the team from Manitoba, Ryan Ginter, Derek Ross, and Paul Chioka, they actually did win the team event, which was followed very closely. A difference of 6.5 pounds was whales with scales. And then Team Savage, Kevin, Dave, and I, we came in third in the team event with 65 pounds. So that's the biggest fish from each of the 3 of us. And yeah, it was tough. It was tough going. Unfortunately, Dave and Kevin didn't crack that 20-pound mark, and that's why we ended up where we did. However, in the solo event, that was kind of cool. The solo event, actually, the top 2 spots went to team members from House of 1,000 Carp. So Ryan Ginter won first, Derek Ross in second, and then I took third place in the solo division, and I was only 8.5 pounds behind the leader. So yeah, having a 29, a 25.5, and a 25, all that I got in those first 3 days of the SSF, all I needed was I just needed that kicker fish, and I know I hooked them. I lost 4 large fish over the course of that week, and I guarantee you, guarantee all 4 of those were bigger than those 25s. They were really good fish. But it was a great turnout. The top 10 all had very respectable weights. And it's like I said, only the one fish over 30 pounds. So when you look at the biggest fish in the solo division, just for the top 10, the largest fish was 31 pounds. In the top 10, the smallest fish in the top 10, sorry, the lowest big fish in that top 10 was 26. So we were all kind of in that same stamp, and like I said, it made it really cool being so close to one another. I see that we got a few of you jumping in the chat. Improved carp angling, wave back. Dan Pattison, luckiest carp angler alive. Another roller coaster of an SSF week. Yeah, it absolutely was. Nathan, fall SSF goal, beat John. With the amount of boilies your daughters are throwing in at your spot, if you can't beat me with one fish, I don't know what's going on. Maybe they need to throw it out just a bit further, something. But those girls are throwing a lot of bait in. I have to admit, I'm incredibly happy with not only my performance, but the whole of Team Savage for both the spring and summer SSF, staying in the top 3 there. We really worked hard to try and make sure that we were, doing our absolute best. There's still one more. Come October, we're going to have the fall SSF, and that I'm looking forward to. I will not have time off during that one, which is going to be interesting. I didn't have time off during the first, the spring event, and it was just, Kevin and Dave and I getting in 3 and 4 hour sessions where we could throughout the week. I don't think either of the 3 of us, none of us put in more than 12 hours over the course of the entire week. We were able to win that spring one. For the summer, I took the whole week off and fished hard all week. Kevin and Dave, again, short sessions. It's what we typically get. And I had a great start, and then it just went dead. It was, I can actually tell you the numbers of what I had that week. I just go back to my notes. Let's see here. Okay, so through the course of the week for the summer SSF, I had 40 runs. I landed 31 of them. Okay, and it was only 3 fish that I lost, 3 big fish that I lost through the week. So, 40 runs up until the Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, nothing. I think nope, that's not true. So Friday morning, I landed 1 fish. It was like a 12-pounder. It was just small. But if you happen to be over and check out the Angler Files Instagram, you'll see some of those fish. I've already posted. I posted the 29 and the 225s. I may have even already posted a few smaller fish, but they were all quality. I fished really hard in 2 spots. So when I did my short sessions on the Saturday, Sundays, I was in one location, and when I did the weekdays, I was 2 kilometers away, all within walking distance of my house. I made a point of staying as close as I could to home. I didn't want to be doing any traveling, so that if I needed to, I could just leave the van here and walk over. And that even included one overnighter in the one spot, which we're not even going to go there. That was a pain that night. Stayed up all night pulling weeds off the lines that were collecting, crayfish problems. But a great SSF. It was a lot of fun. And like I said, seeing how we all just kind of stayed within 1 or 2 pounds of each other the whole week made it really, really exciting. It was a lot of fun. But after that, I really didn't have anything planned because I had taken a week off. I didn't really have anything down the line of what I was going to do. I just knew I needed to get back to doing some filming and try and get some videos done. So I did go back to work for a week. And then it turned out that, COVID hit me. It turns out that one of the guys at work somehow got it, brought it to work, passed it to me. And then I was down really hard for 9 days, 10 days, something like that, before I finally tested clear and was able to go back to work. So that obviously put me out of commission. Now, once I tested clear, I immediately took the opportunity to go out and get on the river. And I'm still have some dry coughing issues that are still lingering, like 3 weeks later now. But I did take the opportunity that last day, right before I went back to work, once I was cleared, to get out on the river. And I went up to a new spot I've been fishing on the upper river. Not a big fish spot. There was some qualities. I've seen a few 20s swim through there. But what was unique about this spot is that I'm fishing the margin. It's a great big river. I'm looking at Americans at their homes and their, on their boats a kilometer away across the river. And I'm fishing for fish that are less than a 10-foot rod length out. So I was using my 10-footers. Normally I'd be fishing in pockets of weed along this little stretch, but there was this nice clear stretch in front of me about 30, 40 yards wide where the weeds just hadn't grown. And I've come to realize that it's because the carp are so active in there. They've actually uprooted the weeds for this little 30 to 40 yard stretch, and about 5 or 10 yards, it kind of varies. It kind of goes in and out, outward. So it makes this perfectly fishable space. It's a little bit deeper for the margin along there, where they've clearly been kind of rooting around and digging. And then it's just a wall of weeds and all this grass that I've been fishing in pockets out for the next 60 yards. So it's been an interesting challenge. I started out fishing off some rocks, kind of 2 rods right in close and one out a little further. And the few sessions I did there, in each case, it was the rods that were out further in the weeds that went. Nothing big, mid doubles. And while I was fishing that, I did notice that there was a lot of fish rising to my left and almost none fishing rising to my right. Definitely a lot out in front of me. Once you get past the weed edge and you're in the main flow of the current of the river, there's lots of fish rising along that. However, the drifting silkweed has been a real problem this year on the river. And anytime I get a rig over there, within 10, 15 minutes, I got to crank it back in. It's just covered in weeds. So you're just not presenting properly in the current like we did last year. Last year was great. I could present in there no problem. This year, silkweed is a menace. So I opted to just take a walk along the bank. I left my rods in. Nothing was happening. It was a lot of short after work sessions. But, it all kind of kicked off right before I went back to work when I was just got cleared from being sick. I took a little walk along the bank to my left, kind of towards where these fish had been rising. And I spotted them. They were just sitting there. There was like 30 fish in this little stretch in the margin. So looking back and forth and trying to see, there was just no access down to the water. I'm elevated up about 15 to 16 feet off the water. And it's all just big boulders and vines and undergrowth that it's just dangerous to try and walk through that. So my intention was, it was close enough distance-wise that I could cast to it from where I had been fishing right behind the van off these big rocks. I tried it. I got a take. And that fish immediately went inward and got wrapped up in a tree, and I lost it. It turns out that from where I was initially sitting, fishing left, the bank actually goes in and it creates a very, very almost not noticeable bay. It's really hard to see even from where I was fishing so close to it. this little bay. As I walk along the bank, it doesn't look like a bay. It looks like I'm just walking across a straight bank. From where I was, there was just this ever so slight indentation in the rocks that created a bay, and that fish went right into it. Kappa, hey, how's it going? Good to see you there. So yeah, after I lost that fish, I realized, okay, I have to find a way to fish in that little space. That's where the fish are. I got to take off of them, and they seem to be more active and more accessible than where I was fishing, even though I was catching there. And, you know, I was kind of out of it still. You know, I had just had a week basically in bed. And, you know, I gave a call to Kevin and Wayne, who were fishing not far away and doing well, and just ran the idea by them about, you know, that I have to try and get in there. It's really not accessible. And if I cut my way down and make an access point to the water for myself, the biggest issue with that is that I'm also making an access point for others. And the last thing I want to do is show up to this new spot. I've got fish all over the place. I don't want to get there and see somebody fishing in a spot that I cleared out, because that's just going to suck. You know, if I'm going to bait this spot, put in the work, do the effort to reap the rewards, and then somebody else reaps those rewards, it's been happening too much the last couple of years, and I'm sick of it. And I just didn't want to do that. So that I did like 3 or 4 sessions there, and you know, along that stretch, and you know, I was catching, but that spot that I needed access to just kept ripping apart my brain. Eventually I gave in and I did go over, and it turns out that it was a lot of like grapevine type things, type plants that were over these rocks. Now the rocks were somewhat loose, and I'm a pretty big guy, you know, I'm clumsy. Me and loose rocks don't mix well. So the last thing I really want to do is be taking any unnecessary risks. So I did move some of these rocks to make them a little safer. I cut through this grapevine and just kind of folded it back so that when I left, I could fold it back over the path. So I only trimmed where I needed to and pulled it apart where I could. Made myself an access way down, got the rods in, and yeah, 2 sessions in that spot. I've now had 4, landed 4 and lost 2, fishing right in the margin where they are. And there is a fish that I am specifically targeting that keeps returning. So this week I will be, I took a week away from that spot because I hit it pretty hard and I had a bunch of fish and they got very shy. So I've left them this past, I guess, week and a half, and I went and fished elsewhere, and I've got 2 new videos in the pipe that I've been able to film in 2 new locations, and I'm just letting that spot on the river rest. They're small fish. I think the biggest one that's in there consistently is maybe 12 or 14 pounds. I did see a couple of bigger fish, you know, mid to high 20s, cruise through there, but after doing a couple sessions in that spot, they've not come back. They were there initially, they're not now. So I'm hoping I can I've given that spot a break. I can go back and do an after work session there. Hopefully this target fish, which is a ghosty, it's a very unique looking fish. Looking down on it as it swims by, it actually looks like a skull and a spine as it goes through. So I'll see a group of 4 or 5 fish come through. They're all dark or kind of like brownish or purplish color. And then there's this one. It just looks like a little tiny skull and a spine cruising in amongst them. I want that fish. I am determined to get that fish because I've seen it 4 times now in my visits to that location, and he keeps coming back, stays with this group of smaller fish. So that's my objective. So I'm going to probably do 2 or 3 more sessions in that spot, you know, after work sessions. I could even go tomorrow morning and fish like 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. Before I have to be home. I could do that, but I've been really tired, and I don't know if I want to get up that early. But I'm going to do a few more sessions in that spot and really try to get that ghosty, or at the very least one of those bigger fish that were there and then pushed out. And then, like I said, the last couple of weeks I've done I've done 5 sessions in the last 2.5 weeks. The first 2 sessions were very productive, and I was able to get 2 new videos shot. One, is just our typical. I went out fishing, caught a couple fish. The next one, the spot had some unique challenges. I had fished the water before, but never that end of that park lake. It's a bigger park lake that I went to. Never fished that end before, and it had big overhanging trees, very thick weed beds that went from bottom to surface, and I just couldn't see fish or really any signs of fish. The odd bit of bubbling, but that could have been catfish. So I kind of took it as a gamble that I was going to invest some bait, a little bit of casting around with the sonar, and then a full day session on that spot. And it panned out. I actually got a really good video that I'm happy with. Fishing those challenges. The rod that I was kind of banking on being my favorite spot for the day that was going to catch a lot of fish through the day, that had nothing but problems. The rod to the right that I was expecting to have a lot of issues with because of how thick the weeds were and how close it was to an overhang turned out to be one of the most productive ones. And the one that was kind of straight out that I only really put out there because I was there to fish these 2 spots, I just put a rod out in the middle because I wanted to have 3 rods out. That one had actually the most activity through the day. So it turned out very interesting. Even when I was trying to shoot B-roll, I would try to film a turtle or something, I'd get a run. Try to film a bird, get a run. It's really, really neat. The park users, issues with them trying to launch canoes while I'm fishing there, or another one, his motor died and he actually brought his boat right up where my pod was. It was an odd day, but it was a great day and a great session, and I'm glad I got it on camera. After that, I thought, okay, I've done a few sessions for smaller fish. I do want to target some bigger ones, kind of build up a plan kind of going into the fall and try and get a few summer chunks. So I've been fishing some of my deeper spots that I go to, deeper water, slower water, lots of weed growth, lots of naturals, and there's been some mega insect hatches, lots of mayflies, different types too, like some of the smaller white ones, and then some of the spots have these really big black ones. I don't know the actual terms for them, but I know they're all mayflies. Huge mayfly hatches lately. And yeah, my last 3 sessions have been blanks. I did 1 session with Dave, and we had a couple pickups and knocks, and I got a sheephead. That was it for that. Excuse me. I did get another session out. I went back to the upper river to where I had such great success during the SSF, and I could see tons of suckers and even a couple catfish rise. Never saw a single carp, didn't get a single take. Complete blank on that one. And then I went back to where Dave and I were at a deep water spot just this past today's Saturday. So just this past Wednesday evening, I went and did a session there, and I saw some more fish. Had a chat with a fly fisherman that was there, who clearly didn't quite know what fish were in that water. So giving a little bit of insight as to what was actually there, I think that helped change his fly choices. And I believe he had a few small fish. But the carp, they moved in on my bait just after dark. I knew they were there. I was getting liners, never actually had a take. So yeah, my last 3 sessions have been blanks, and it's kind of tough. I switched from fishing a couple venues where I knew I could get bites and put in a little bit of work and have something exciting, but smaller fish. And I wanted to switch gears and target something bigger. I couldn't even get a little one bite, just no carp at all, which surprised me, because all of these bigger fish spots also have a good head of smaller fish. I should have had something, but to have blanked 3 times in a row, something's up. So, like I said, I have a theory about what my issue is, and I think it's related to the rigs I was using and how I tied them. So my next session out will probably be on the upper, adjust those rigs and see how it goes. Hopefully, get something out of it. Probably the next session or two, I'm not going to be filming. I'll have a camera there in case some kind of spectacular catch does come along, but it's not the objective to film the next 1 or 2 sessions, because I do have a plan. Dave and I have been speaking for quite a while, actually, and it's something that we talked about last year and probably even the year before, but it's hitting me kind of hard lately that I want to do some changes. I want to stir things up a bit, make things a little bit more entertaining for myself, so that I can get back to having fun filming again. I've done very little filming this year. I can think of maybe 3 sessions this year that I've absolutely loved filming, that I had a lot of fun doing. This most recent one to the park lake, fishing in these little pockets of overhangs and weeds. I had a tremendous amount of fun that day, and filming that was a treat. The session before that wasn't. I worked really hard to try and get some bites. I had a few fish, and I got a video out of it. But that whole session seemed like work. It seemed like I wasn't doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for the followers. I was just doing it for the sake of having content, and that is not what I want to be doing. I've gotten into that rut in the past where I'm just trying to do content to make sure we have something out there, and the quality is crap, and it's not fun, and I don't want to be doing that. So Dave and I have some ideas. He's thrown in some great ideas for some potential series. I have a few ideas for some potential series, and we're going to change up the way the live streams are done as well. So we're going to continue on the way we're doing things for the rest of this year, and for 2023, there's going to be a big revamp of how the content is coming on the channel. Hopefully, to make it more exciting and make it more fun. Because if we actually are having more fun making them, it's going to come across in the videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy them as well. I just want to get away from what we've been doing for so long, where it's basically just one of us going out fishing, we film it, get a couple fish, that's that. There's no excitement in that anymore. There was for a long time, and then, don't get me wrong, I still am proud of what we've done. But I just want to kick it up a notch. I want to make it a little bit more exciting. I want to make it more fun. And the ideas that we've been talking about, they're exciting. Kappa, line bite on my middle rod. Kappa, you're on the bank. You're fishing. Get him. Get him, man. I want to see you type in that drag is screaming. Good stuff. Good stuff. Glad to see you're out. 3 on the dance floor. Excellent. It's good to hear. I do wish I was out today. Kevin is out right now fishing his challenge for the Canadian Carp Society Challenge Series. He's up against Chad Normand, really good angler up in the Kingston area. So currently this is round 3. It's craziness. 1, 2, 3. So we're in round 3, and the winners of round 3 will go into the semifinals. So, I'm rooting for Kevin. I was on the phone with him quite a bit this morning. He's had a few fish. Chad's had fish as well. Kevin's locations aren't panning out the way we had hoped, but he's catching in some pretty tough conditions. That's why the locations aren't panning out the way we hoped. Conditions have hit him surprisingly hard, and yet he's still producing fish. He's still getting bites. So by the end of the day, we'll know who wins out of that scenario, and which one of them is moving on to the semifinals, which would be exciting. It would be great to see Team Savage in the finals. 334 Outdoors, howdy back. Just so you know, Kappa's fishing. He's had a liner on the middle. appreciate you guys tuning in. I know the lives haven't been overly exciting the last while, and we're hit and miss when people can get in, and we're missing a lot of people sometimes when we would have that regular group that chats. Um, I'm hoping that when we make the changes next year, the lives will be a little bit more engaging. Ever considered a European trip, hitting some of the French or UK commercial waters? Have I considered it? Yes, I absolutely have considered it. Do I think about it a lot? Yes, I think about it a lot. Do I have the ability to do that anytime soon? No. Um, Possibly a year or two, I might be able to swing something, um, but I don't know. At this stage, right now, it's just not possible. But it is high on the agenda of things that I want to do. Um, there's a few venues in England that I would love to fish. Um, there's a couple in France that I would love to try, and um, my good buddy Jan, who I used to try to get one or two sessions with each year. He's actually moved back to the Netherlands. Him and his brother, his cousin are out there, all great people. I would love to get to the Netherlands and do some fishing there. Maybe even get a chance to meet up with the KWO guys again after having fished with some of them. Uh, a UK or European trip is absolutely on my list, and it's high on my list. Um, but obviously, there's a big, financial and logistical thing that has to be taken care of beforehand. Uh, in all fairness, if I'm going to do any big trip, the big trip that it will come before a European trip will be Saskatchewan. I want to get out and fish with Anthony, maybe a chance with Ryan, but I want to fish some of those big prairie waters because there's some giant fish there, and I'd like to experience it. So, last year it was decided that I wanted to get out there and was going to try and do it this year. This year it's not going to work out, especially after having been sick and missing work. It's going to take me a bit to recover in that, and I have things I have to take care of here first. So hopefully next year a Saskatchewan or at least a prairie trip. Then maybe the following year or year after, um, Europe. But it's on the list. It's definitely on the list. 3, 3, 4 doors. That's closer to a carp bite than I've had all year. Dude, get the lines out. Just make it happen. Find a way. Get the lines out. Exactly. Sell a kidney. You only need one. Just get out there and try to get a fish. Big canals in the Netherlands. Yeah, absolutely. And I do like fishing canals. I want to get out and experience that different style of fishing. Um, they've got a lot of different types of venues. Some very crowded, some very public, others very hidden, some incredibly weedy, some, completely different. Big open park lakes, gravel pits, stuff like that. There's a lot to offer over there, and I would love a big trip or two to really try it out. After getting to talk to and fish with Ian Sorrell last year, Parco is a must-do. What's Parco? I have a feeling I should know it, and I think I've heard that before, but I'm drawing a blank because I'm tired and I worked all morning. And if you guys haven't, I don't know, I'm a snacker. I love food. I love snacks. Um, these exist. Pop Tarts bites. Look at them. They're little mini Pop Tarts. I don't know how I've lived without these. It's just unreal. Oh, my dog's awake. Parco del Brenta. Okay, yes, I have heard of that. I have. I don't know. Italy is not really on my list of places to go to try, with one exception, and I don't know where it is. Um, so that one film back in, I think it was like 2012 or something like that. That one film that really kicked off my awareness of how global carp fishing is and the European style and equipment, because I'd never seen it before. That one film called A Passion for Carp was filmed on a lake in Italy. Subsequently, Corda has also since done a film on that same lake. Um, and if I would ever fish Italy, really the only place that I want to go is that lake. Uh, I don't know what it's called. It's private as far as I know. But yeah, if I'm ever in Italy, that's the one lake that I want to fish. Beyond that, I really don't have a drive to fish Italy at all. Uh, England, France, Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, those are kind of where I want to go. Austria, would love to fish Austria. Slovenia at one point, but really, I'm not really driven to go try Spain. There's a lot going on at Oriana right now, and that spot doesn't that lake doesn't really drive me. The landscape is cool, but not really into that. So I have a list. I definitely want to do a trip over there at some point, but not just for a couple of days. I want to take like 2 weeks. Take 14 days. Get over there, fish a bunch of different venues. It'd probably wear me out quite a bit, but do a week at a whole bunch of venues, and then maybe like a week at a holiday venue like Gigantica or something like that, where I can kind of rest. A really hard week of fishing everywhere, and then one kind of cool week where you just stay in one spot, fish it for biggins, and then come back. It would make a great film or videos, uh, but it would just be one hell of an experience. So if I can do that at some point, that's definitely on the list. So we know Cap is on the water. We know 334 Outdoors hasn't been, but he needs to be smacked into submission so that he can get on the water. He has to go fishing. How's everybody else doing? I know there's not been a lot of yous in the live today. Most of you is out fishing probably or busy. But how's everybody else been doing? Linear and Farlow's. If I'm in the UK, Farlow's is definitely one on my list. I have somebody I can contact who really, really knows Farlow's well, and I'm sure that if I was going to be coming over there, I'm sure they'd set me up with everything I need to know knowledge wise of the place. The river is 5 miles from my house, just no time. Well, I know what it's like to not have time. I get it, but I'm sure you can find 2-3 hours. That might be all it takes. Try, man. You got to do it. So yeah, there's a lot of options over there. There's a lot of people that I want to see if I manage to get over there at some point. So it's on the list. Maybe one day the channel will just take off, and all of a sudden I'll actually have enough funds to go on big adventures like that. That would be fantastic. But right now it's not in the cards. It's just on the list. Got work from 4 to 4:30 tonight. Okay, so work and then go right to the water. You live right around the corner from Farlow's. My God. Okay, well, if I ever end up at Farlow's, I know who I'm calling. At the very least, with some of these big UK venues or popular UK venues that are busy all the time, they get a lot of press. I'm not even concerned with fishing a lot of them. I would just love the opportunity to walk around them, walk the property, walk the complex. that would be exciting for me still. I think I'm about to bait the hell out of it and fish it Friday after I get off. Yes, that's exactly what you're doing. We have all spoken. 334 Outdoors is going fishing on Friday. There, your mind's made up for you. That's what's going on. Just so you know. Anybody else been out? Anybody else been trying anything new? Any new gear? I have got a few things. One of the things that I've gotten, kind of the last components arrived yesterday, but I'm going to talk about that one probably in our September live stream because I want to use it first. Right now, it's just all the components are sitting in the packages on my desk. So that we'll probably talk about in the next live stream. I do have one piece behind me that I can show you in a minute. Mullet fishermen are out right now, so the normal 5 pounds of salt and 30 pounds of chicken feed isn't going in right now. Well, make sure you're all set up for Friday. Hi, Coco. What are you doing? Relax. Okay, so I do have a new piece of kit. This is something that I've been waiting for quite a while. And it's going to be included in a product review that I've tried to film the last 3 times I've been out, which is probably why I've blanked. I've been focused on trying to film something and not been able to do it. So this is the Corda Compact large buzzbar bag. Sorry. You know, for those of you who have seen the channel, I've been using for a year and a half now the little Signet Quick Lock pod kit. It's an amazing pod, and everything folds down and contains into this, just this little neoprene bag, everything minus the alarms. That's been a bit of an issue for me because I wanted to have a few other components with the pod to make it a little bit more versatile, but I can't fit it in there. So I have to carry that case for the pod and the bank sticks, and then a separate case for the alarms, and it's irritating. It's too much extra stuff. Want it all in one bag, so that's why I managed to get this, and it's actually in here right now with the alarms. Excuse me. So it's a pretty neat little item. You open the lid, it's got a little zipper bag here. I've got a few extra batteries and a thing of silica gel in there. On the top, I've got my main buzz bar with the alarm still attached, and the buzz bar with my large Nash Quick Lock butt rests. But then it's got this divider that you lift up, and then in the lower part, I've actually got the Quick Lock pod. I've got the 2 small upright bank sticks for the buzz bars. I've also got one 12-inch bank stick in there, and another rear buzz bar with the small butt grips for my 9-foot rods. So now, as this is set up, I have everything I need in here to fish any one of the 3 sets of rods that I have. So I can take my 12-footers, I can take my 10-foot with cork handles, or I can take my little light action 9-foot with the small EVA handles, and I have everything I need to fish all 3 sets in one bag. Because I've got the one longer bank stick in there, I can either have my tips elevated or the butt ends elevated and tips down. So everything is set and contained now in one bag. Makes it a lot easier. So I'm going to do a proper review on it because I've been using this pod so long and it's actually become one of my favorite pieces of kit. But just to give you guys kind of an early heads up before the review video comes out, wow, my brain just completely went blank for a second there. I saw that Nathan had put a comment in, and halfway trying to read it, I lost my train of thought. Oh well, tell you what, wait for the wait for the product review video, and everything will be explained in that. Um, but it's an amazing piece of kit, and just having a few subtle adjustments to personalize it for the way I want to fish and the way I want to do things. Um, it's been amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm actually going to even change something else up because this is the other buzz bar for that pod. The one I have on there is actually a quick release one to make it easier to use the other bag. But now I don't need that, so I can go back to using this one and use my quick release bank stick butt rests, or sorry, buzz bars for something else. So yeah, I can change things up a bit. There will be a video. Improved carp angling. Have a $500 plus unboxing video coming up. Coming up when? Don't just say it's coming up. Give me a date. Let me tell everybody here when that's coming out. Because if it's the one that I think it is, it's more than $500. It's like more than $1,000, isn't it? Oh, Nathan, just in case you didn't see, Pop-Tart bites. They're amazing. Personal preference is the security of the goalpost setup. I can understand that. See, where I fish, maybe 1 in 50 spots, I can actually put a bank stick in. I fish on a lot of rock. I fish on a lot of really hard ground. Or I have the whole setup right out in the water. And even then, the ground is very difficult. This area is it's rock, it's clay, really, really thick, heavy stuff. If you're doing a Signet pod review, I will wait till yours is up, then link over to it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've already planned out because I've tried to shoot it 3 times and it's not gone well. Each time I put the camera on, I'd sit down in front of the pod, and then like a person in the house behind me starts running their skill saw. So I wait, let them finish, go to start again. Person across the canal or across the river from me pulls up and then starts cranking their tunes. It's just each time it's not worked out. The session I did on the upper river, because I'm using it in a kind of an extreme way there, a family came to do a picnic and they were filming themselves and carrying on and making lots of loud noise. And then a beaver showed up and actually started to come at my pod like he was going to take it. I have footage of that, and I was able to scare him off when he got about 3 feet away from the pod. I have footage of that beaver, and I'll put that out at some point. But yeah, it's been really weird. But I'm gonna try and get that. I think Thursday evening. I'm going to try and shoot at least the first part of that product review of the Signet Quick Lock Pod kit, and then I have to film the accompanying footage to go along with everything I'm telling you in the video. I'll have to shoot that on another session right after. So I'm hoping probably hopefully by September, we'll have the Quick Lock Pod kit video ready to go and released. I've been beating around video idea, but my camera got stolen last year. Cost of doing business in the meth belt of Florida. You know what? It's not just there. It's the cost of being out with equipment. There are people out there that suck and they steal stuff, whether they have addiction issues or who knows. There's some people just do it for the thrill. Some people do it out of desperation. Some people do it for any number of reasons. But it happens to all of us. You just got to do your best to be on top of your gear. Make sure that you're not leaving an opportunity for it to be taken, which sucks. It takes the fun out of some of what you're doing because you have to be so careful. But it's the world. It's the way the world is now. There's nothing we can do about it. It just sucks. So hopefully you can get that idea on film at some point. How are we doing here? Okay, so we got about 10 minutes left, and I'm going to be wrapping it up. Like I said, I did work this morning, so I've got a lot I want to try and get done this afternoon, as well as a nap. I'm exhausted. I need a nap. but I do want to get some stuff in order. Like I said, I'm still moving a few things around. This little item here, which I'll just give you that quick glimpse of, is something I need to do a little bit of work with to get ready. But we'll talk about that and everything that goes with that on the September live stream. Is there anything else that I wanted to point out to you guys? I think everything else. Oh, there is something else I did get. Everything else that I have to kind of like tell you guys is actually in the next couple videos. So just wait for the next few videos. That'll be cool. You'll get some of that information out there just while I enjoy those sessions. And then Dave and I are going to continue on our brainstorming of how we're going to kind of change things up for next year, starting in January. So, yeah, like things like a couple of new series ideas where you'll get like recurring videos on the same theme. There will be a change to the live streams. The podcast idea I have not let go of. Obviously, we wanted to do the podcast. COVID made things very difficult for people to get together. And now the only problem is that our schedules aren't lining up, because I don't want to do this without Dave. The podcast is going to be Dave and I talking about whatever items we have to bring up, as well as maybe the odd guest here and there. But that podcast will not go forward until Dave and I can line up time to record it each time. The idea would be hopefully record multiple ones at a time. So if we can free up an afternoon, try and record two podcasts covering a few specific topics, so that we could always be ahead of the game. A monthly live podcast. Well, the monthly lives are going to continue. They're just going to be done a little bit differently. So it will kind of be a pod. The lives are already kind of a podcast, but the podcast idea that we want to do will be pulling different topics each time. So we might be talking about specific tactics, specific baits, specific venues. We might even just be reaching out and looking into the world of fishing as a whole and any kind of exciting fishing news, even from multiple species. If something happens in the bass world, it might be something we want to talk about, because there might be some similarities that we can pull some knowledge from. So, yeah, the in-depth river guide is definitely something that we've already tried starting it twice, and I've already kind of written out half of it. So this spring, the top location that I wanted to start the spring off for this river guide, I haven't even fished there yet this year. Haven't even been there. I haven't even stopped to look at the water at that spot yet this year. Kevin did a couple sessions there, did really well, but I want to, this in-depth river guide, I want to kind of cover the whole year. And January kicked off really well. I was actually filming another project that I was going to splice into the river guide. Was a winter campaign on the big water. I got 2 sessions in, a couple of fish, yay, exciting. And then I had 3 months where I couldn't get a bite. Couldn't even get out because we had such a nasty snowstorm up here. It kind of locked everything up for the rest of January, all of February, and most of March. So the river guide is the way I want to do it, to make sure that it covers everything that I think it needs to cover. That's going to be a work in progress for a little while. I thought I could just snap it together in a year, covering different types of rivers, especially in different seasons. Fell apart very, very quickly, but I've not given up on it. We'll be trying it again. That won't be something that's done as a series. That will just be like one big film. And if it ends up being 4 hours long, it ends up being 4 hours long. But yeah, the river guide is definitely another one of those top things that I want to get done. Bloody fish are topping under my feet. Take your shoes off, turn them around, tilt them forward, and hopefully the fish will just jump right in. Fill your boots. Kappa 334 doors. SJ cam cheaper than the GoPro, but really effective 4K video. I have a couple of the SJ cams myself. My issue right now is that my action cameras are not working with the software I use to edit for whatever reason. Something in my computer just decided that it doesn't want to work with those anymore, which is why the walleye video from last winter has not been released yet. Because every time I open that file with footage, the video was almost shot entirely on the action cameras. Yeah, I can't get the program to stay open. I'll do one or two edits, and then it crashes. So I'm hoping that walleye video will come out this winter. You know, it'll be a year late, but it'll be in the same season. Just got to get my computer to cooperate. But that video was coming together really well with how that session went, and I want to make sure that gets out. Go take a pee break, and all 3 rods will take off. Happens. Definitely happens. Right now, I just got a Windows computer, and I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro for my editing software. Not sure what the corruption is with the files, if it's just those files or if it's the action camera footage altogether. Maybe I need to get a new card or something. But yeah, I haven't used my action camera since the spring. I may not even, that walleye session was the last time I used the action cameras because I had issues. So, I might be able to go back to using it. It might be fine, but I've been just using my 2 primary cameras lately, and the editing's been going smooth. So just we'll see how it goes the next little while. Like I said, I've got a few things to film still, a few other ideas. We want to start shooting stuff for next year as soon as possible. SD could be corrupted. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I got a few others now. I picked up a few more cards, so I'm gonna give it a try at some point. Just the last few sessions I've been out, it's not been practical. Lots of changes and adjustments, and hopefully more exciting things coming down the line. Lots of projects that we want to get done, but scheduling or financing has made it very difficult. The channel doesn't really bring in much. It doesn't bring in anywhere near what it used to. YouTube constantly makes these changes, and the channel just doesn't get the viewership that it used to. If YouTube was kicking in a little bit more, I could have more to reinvest into the channel. But as of right now, everything's got to come out of my pocket or Dave's pocket as we're putting them together, and it's not practical to really go hard on it right now. But the list is there so that when we can just start cranking through stuff. So it's looking like we're just coming up on an hour. I really do appreciate you guys being here. As always, it's always fun to be able to chat with you. It's never quite the same without Doug, but we've missed Doug the last few times. And, like I said, there's not been a whole lot going on. I'm sure I could sit here and just keep talking, but it's not fun when there's not really been a lot going on to talk about. So new things coming up. We just have to start getting things ready for next year. Some new content coming out. I have a few new videos ready, all set to go. I just need to finish the edits on them. Product review for the Signet Quick Lock Pod Kit is happening. I've been kind of pushing to try and do that all year and keep telling you I'm going to get it done, and I haven't got it done. I've been out 3 times now trying to film it, and everything has gone wrong. That I'm getting taken care of. Patreon or Amazon wish list. I thought about Patreon and things like that. The biggest issue is that you need more content and stuff to give to your patrons. I don't have time to make the extra stuff right now. If I had time to make a little bit more extra stuff that I could kind of have some behind the scenes stuff or some exclusive content just for the patrons, I would love to try and do something like that. But as it stands right now, I can't set something like that up and ask for people to do that if I don't have something else to give back. Only friends. yeah, I can just start selling pictures of my feet online, and then that'll finance the channel. Maybe we'll do that. To get into some kind of weird content that is all about feet. They pay big bucks for that, right? Kappa, I really do hope you get into some fish soon. If you do, feel free to shoot me a message with a picture or something on Instagram, and I'll happily post it for you. Would love to see what you're getting. 334 Outdoors, thanks for tuning in. I hope you do get on the bank on Friday. Make it happen. I would love to see what you get into. And for everybody else who's joined in, tuned in, maybe come in a little bit late, as always, I appreciate you guys always being here. Don't hold your breath. Yeah. Just catch a fish. You can do it. We all have faith in you. I'm going to wrap this one up. Like I said, we've got a few things to talk about in September. I just want to try this stuff out first. We'll talk a little bit more about the changing plans that are coming up next year. We're going to do that like every month from now until the end of the year. We'll talk about some of these ideas that we have. You know, as we shoot them, hopefully we'll get a better understanding of how they're going to come together. You know, what you have an idea, once you get on the bank and start filming it, it completely changes into something else. So as Dave and I get to work on that, hopefully you'll be able to get some updates as we go in each live stream. So for now, thank you all for being here again. Really appreciate it. I'm going to finish my Pop-Tart bites and then have a quick nap. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Great to see you guys again. And yeah, I would love to set up something like that, what we were just talking about, but not quite ready to jump in there yet. So for now, I'll say good day. Thanks for being here. See you again in September. Keep you guys eyes focused on the channel. We have 2 or 3 new videos that I've already got ready to go that will be coming out in the next few weeks, and the product review. So thank you. We will see you in September.